I don't like it, I might come back. And so I sort of hoped that my brothers would help him, my father. And let's see, 76, yeah, that's when I moved to the West Coast. So that's when you must have seen him, when I came back there.
Yeah, he just stopped by for an hour.
Yeah.
And
Oh, he also got in trouble. He got arrested.
for what?
And he's put in prison.
For what?
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah. And nobody would go see him. And they
This
called me and told me.
this was in Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
What did he do?
I think he stole something. I'm not sure.
And how long was he in prison for?
I think he got out fairly quickly because he didn't have any bad things on
Right.
his record.
Like a year or less, couple months?
I'm not exactly sure. I went to visit him down there
In prison.
in the prison. Yeah.
Is that
No,
in Reading?
nobody else did.
In Reading?
Hmm?
In Reading?
Yeah. And he was looking through. He's really been going through something, being in prison. So that was the time I was just leaving to go to the West Coast. So that's the last time I saw him.
So that was about 1970?
76.
Yeah.
75 is when I left.
And then you never heard from him after that
Right.
until he died.
No.
My
Just trying to think. He went to Reading, but he ended up in New York. So I don't know what
and
that happened.
yeah,
there.
and that's where he died. He died in Bellevue.
That's right.
He died of stomach cancer. He died of stomach cancer.
Yeah, I know. That's the last time I had any kind. I got a call from my dad or one of my brothers saying that they got a letter
From the hospital, from
Bellevue.
Bellevue, that he
And
died.
That he died, and they were all scared. I don't know. Maybe they thought that he had a funeral.
Right.
I don't know. So I said, well, why don't you just call the hospital? And they said they were scared to get involved at all. So I called them up and I asked them, what's going on with this? And they said, well, they had to move him out someplace. I said, well, I don't know, what to do in a case like this. I said most people just have moved out to an anonymous cemetery.
Right, Pottersfield.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess you can get to see the cemetery by going through Bellevue.
Right.
They should have a record.
Yeah.
What's that?
Something fell outside. So my foster father told me that
He was a minister. Is that?
he was a minister, but he told me that my father was a very bright person, a very intelligent person.
He looked.
That he was very intelligent.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He was just lost. He just
He was
lost.
just that movie.
That movie
just-
did it to him.
Yeah.
Rebel Without a Cause
Yeah, it just
was his downfall, basically.
Yeah, I would say that definitely because
That's crazy.
our father wasn't a very aggressive, wasn't, and that movie was just about that type of
Mhm.
thing. This kid was trying to find his father, and he was just, thought that was really it. It's a very powerful movie.
Mhm. Well,
Then the
So,
whole James Dean thing with him dying and all kind of cults falling.
hmm
It was just,
he got caught up in that.
yeah.
So, where did you go to college in Pennsylvania? You went to school, university. You.
He went to Albright.
Oh, to Albright. I remember Albright.
Oh, me?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And what did you study?
I started chemistry. I thought I wanted to be a chemist. And then 2 years into it, I was having doubts whether I wanted to be a chemist or not. So I dropped out. I worked in some labs to find out what it was really like. And I really liked it less and less and less. The only other thing I liked was math. And a friend of mine came to visit me in Reading. And he went in the Air Force, and he was a navigator. And he's 25 years old. He's a captain, and he had 2 children, married. And he said, "You got to go out there to Colorado and go to navigator school." So I said, "Well, I don't know if I like the service." So I said, finally made my mind up. I'd go in a 6-month plan. The Air Force just didn't have one, but the Army did. So I went in the 6-month plan. And when I got in there, I talked to a lot of the guys, and they say, "You got to go back to college. You got to get a degree. You'll never get a good job." So that made my mind up about when I came back. I went back to college, and in 2 years I graduated. I almost had 2 majors, one in chemistry and one in math, and I had a minor in physics. And then I was really lucky. They had a test that they gave like 200 people for these jobs up in IBM, New York. And they hired 20 people based on these tests. And there were tricky math questions in the quest. And I was the only one that got one of these problems right
Uh-huh.
out of the whole 200. And that impressed them, so they hired me. And it was a little rough because everybody else went to Harvard or MIT or University.
And you're out of
big
little Reading,
schools.
Pennsylvania.
And they used to joke me and say, "He went to the extension school for Harvard."
The satellite campus.
Yeah. And I had this student loan to fill it off.
How much was a student loan back
Yeah,
then?
that was one thing made me angry.
Couple
Albright,
$100.
Is they wouldn't give me a regular loan because the first time I went, I owed them a little bit of money, a few $100s, and I didn't pay it really off, on time. I was only making $40 a week, and I was giving my parents $20, and then they took taxes. I had like $15 a week, and they're complaining I didn't pay it off fast enough. So they said I had to go to a regular bank, which
Sure.
just happened to be across the street from Albright, and they charged me a much higher interest
Sure.
rate, and said it had to be paid off in 6 years. But I paid it off in about 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I paid double payments, and then they came to me and they asked me for alumni money. I said, "Hey, you gotta be kidding."
That's
So,
funny. What can you tell me about my grandmother? Your mother.
Your grandmother.
Yes, your mother, Esther.
Your mom.
Okay.
I know I'm asking a lot of
She
questions
was-
because I have a lot of questions about my
Yeah, yeah.
father's family.
Okay. She came from Irish.